I want to ask you this, Carlos. Why is collecting healthy for us? Because I view
Mm,
collecting, as long as we do it responsibly, I view collecting as a very healthy hobby. Because for one, I know people have mentioned this before and they say it jokingly, but I actually find this to be true. When they say it keeps you out of trouble, I agree with that. Because there's any number of things you could be doing. And it's okay to go to the bar and drink and stuff, but that can become troublesome when you do too much of it, when you do it in excess, like anything in life, right? So can collecting. But like being on these live streams, being in this community, making these friends, like getting things that make you happy. I've met so many people and have had so many doors open for me because of collecting that would never have happened if not for that. So I want to hear from the
yeah.
chat too on this one, guys. Let us know, why is collecting healthy for you? But I think Carlos, it gives us a focus too. What do you think?
Yeah, man. It's okay. So first is if you're doing it right. And what I mean by that is if you're being responsible, right? If you're not
Right.
getting like, we always say like less is more, right? Because so you can move around your money. I know some people believe more is more, but more can mean like more debt. So if you're doing it irresponsible, it's not healthy. But you're right, man. It's healthy because it allows you to use your creativity if you want to pose. It allows you to really just connect and create new friends as opposed to being in front of a computer all day, and create relationships like you and I. We became good friends over this, unfortunately. So
Yeah.
we can create and meet
Unfortunately.
people. So it is pretty healthy, but it depends the way you go about it. You know what I mean? And I think that's really going to be the biggest part for this. Now, because for me, prior to
Kind of
collecting,
sitting over
my
300.
my day would start, and it still does, 4:30 in the morning, 5 in the morning, I wake up. I'll typically text everyone. Back in the day, I would just get up and work until like 8 o'clock. And I wasn't drinking and I wasn't doing anything bad like gambling or doing drugs. But that it doesn't always mean that's the most unhealthy. I mean that's unhealthy, but I mean like also overworking it, and if the only thing you do is working, that's also unhealthy. Yeah, I was building
Yeah.
a business, but at the same time, like your mental health isn't great. You're pretty much alone all the time. You don't create relationships. So just because you're not out there drinking or doing drugs or partying, it doesn't mean you're not doing other unhealthy, things like, you know, just like me working all day. So this really allowed me
Yeah.
to, take a break from working and create a relationship. So I think it can be really healthy for you if done right. If you have a nice community and core of friends, thankfully that's you, Riley, and a few other of our mods like Anthony, who sells me the insurance, Fig Fate, Mike, and so many other people, like Jason and Mark and Roy, and so many other people that have been able to have a good relationship with. And I think that's healthy on its own. Some of the times I think about like, do I want to leave collecting? Is that something I want to do? But the community, I think that's what really makes us make sure that we're creating friendships, and that's all in itself healthy. So yeah.
Yeah, I think so too, bro. Because I think there's any number of ways you could look at this as a healthy collecting hobby and habit and all that good stuff. For one, the community, like the people who are willing to engage in the chat tonight, like it's
Right.
just so exciting, bro, to meet all these people. Like I'm going to San Diego for the first time in my life in July. Probably wouldn't have happened if not for this, right? So
Right.
there's so many
Yeah.
other things, like I said, so many possibilities and friendships and doors and things like that that have opened just because of doing this. And also, like one of the things that I've said before, Carlos, like with some of us maybe who really like to have a focus and direction in life, like a purpose, collecting doesn't have to be your whole purpose, but it can be one of them. It can be one of
Right.
them. I don't think that any one thing, unless you're, I don't know, unless you're like a professional musician and that's just your life, so be it. But, if this is collecting thing as a hobby, like, there's any number of things you can balance that with in life. And I feel like, as one of the core pillars of your life, it can be that if it's something you enjoy that much. And it is, I think, a
Yeah.
healthy thing, balance it, learning how to balance your budget, learning how to,
Yeah.
focus yourself and, find and build something that you feel good about, that you enjoy. Like it can be
Right.
therapeutic. Like I'm seeing. Yeah.
Yeah. It can also, as we know, be unhealthy from the obvious reasons of a budget.
Sure.
But more than that, if you let this consume you where this is all you think about, this is all you do. Collecting in a hobby, by its definition, is supposed to be a hobby. It's not supposed to be everything that represents you. It's not supposed to take over your entire life.
Right.
So it can be unhealthy as well, right? But so I would always caution that, you know what I mean? That if you are in this hobby, don't let this consume you. Don't follow the hype. Don't do all that because that starts becoming really unhealthy. Because as we talked about earlier, people feeling priced out, people feeling wanting to leave. That went from being something healthy to being unhealthy. Not because you're not. There's no longer that happiness meter that's aligning with why you were collecting to begin with. So for me, man, I love collecting. I love the community. The community, honestly, more than anything itself.
Yeah.
But this is a very, very small part of what I do. And like I said, I have a core group of friends, and that's really healthy than me. I still work a ton, mind you. I still work a shit ton, but I can take those breaks, and instead of me just sitting in front of a computer, or I call you, or I FaceTime like the mod group and other people. So that starts creating a little bit healthier lifestyle. So
Right. I agree. Well, guys, let us know in the comments what you think about all of this. But yeah, I think we're all doing this the right way. So all of us in the chat, all of us, in this community, I think we've learned and grown together. And I think that's really exciting. So